Okay, hello and welcome. So this online workshop that we're going to be doing today is covering building strong communication skills. Now, of course, communication skills is something that we need throughout various areas of our lives. This is particularly aimed at people who are looking to solo travel, but the topics that we talk about in this particular workshop can be applied to any part of your life. And in fact, I do encourage that as well. So let's get started, shall we? Just a quick introduction from me for anybody who doesn't already know who I am. My name is Chloe Gosiewski. I am a qualified life and travel coach. Now, I have done quite a lot of travel, both solo and with other people. And what I do with my business is I combine life coaching with my knowledge of travel. Now, as a qualified life coach, I do help people with personal development and self-discovery. They're the kind of main areas that I focus on. And because I absolutely love travel, and I'm an advocate for mental health travel, I basically combined the skills and the knowledge that I have, and I help people who are wanting to have transformational travel experiences in order to improve their mental and emotional health. So the journey starts way before you even go traveling, and just continues and continues and continues on this one-way journey. I absolutely love dogs. I'm a big fan of dogs. I absolutely love them. Something that I found incredibly difficult when I was traveling was seeing how many stray dogs there were on the street. That was something that deeply affected me, and it was a challenge that I had to work through when I was away. Um, my weakness is ironing. I am a terrible ironer. Is that even a word? I don't know. But I can't iron at all. So I thought I'd just put it in there because, we always talk about things that we like and, things that we're good at. But it's sometimes good to address what our weaknesses are so that we can play against our strengths. I spent 6 months backpacking through Central America. That was my first big trip that I did by myself. It was incredible. It had its ups, it had its downs, but that was the start of a real transformation for me. You can find out a bit about me through the website onewayjourney.com if you'd like to know a little bit more. I don't want to focus this on me. I would like to move on as quickly as possible into the nitty-gritty stuff for you guys. So obviously, as I mentioned before, I'm an advocate for mental health travel. The agenda for this evening, the kind of things that we're going to be looking at, because in my opinion, these kind of 4 focus areas will really help you to build those really strong communication skills. So the first thing that we're going to look at is self-confidence, what that is, self-confidence, self-esteem, what that really means. We're then going to look at using your authentic voice, and then going into expressing yourself with empathy. And then listening versus hearing. Now, you may be thinking, looking at those titles and think, what's that got to do with anything? But as we go through, you will understand. And then we're going to finish it up with an open discussion for any questions that obviously come in. We are going to just have a little look at some of those. So let's start with, what is self-confidence? Now, self-confidence is understanding and trusting in your own judgment and abilities. For me personally, I've always felt strongly that confidence is about trust. It's trust in yourself. Trust that you're going to say the right thing, trust that you are doing the right thing. It's also about knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. So I kind of mentioned this at the beginning, about knowing your strengths and your weaknesses and playing to your strengths, because if you know where your weaknesses are, you can work on improving them, but equally you can use those strengths that you have to counteract any areas that you may feel that you lack in. And that's kind of what helps to build self-confidence, is knowing what you're good at, what you're strong at, what you enjoy, what you're passionate about. Self-confidence is also about having a positive view of yourself, which kind of falls into self-esteem, which we're going to cover a little bit more in a minute. But how you view yourself in the world around you is going to have a huge impact on your self-confidence, which is also going to impact your communication skills with those around you. So having a positive view of yourself is equally important. Also, self-confidence is built upon how you handle criticism, because if you can kind of take a bit of criticism on the chin, or use it to kind of better yourself, or take it as constructive criticism, then obviously you're going to feel more confidence in things that you're doing. If you don't handle criticism so well and you take it quite personally, again, this is probably having a bit of effect here on the positive view of yourself, because if you have a low view or a negative view of yourself, the likelihood is you're not going to take criticism very well, because you think it's a personal attack on yourself. And so all of these things kind of really come together. The thing about everything in the world is that nothing is solo. Everything is all interlinked with each other, and all of these different areas kind of build up this self-confidence within a person. So self-esteem. Self-esteem essentially is the ideas that you have about yourself. Now, a lot of this will come from various different places, like, for example, your upbringing. How your parents speak to you when you're younger, how your teachers speak to you, how your friends speak to you, the conditions that you grow up in. All of those things are going to have an effect on how you think about yourself as you grow into an adult. Are you growing up in an area, for example, where there's a lot of unemployment, so therefore you have this idea that that's where you're from, and so that's the life that you're going to have. So a lot of this ideas about yourself comes from your upbringing. It also comes from your life experiences, things that you've been through, things that have happened to you or happened around you. They all impact those ideas about essentially the way you see yourself. Your personality also has a little bit to do with it as well, and of course your thoughts. I am very big on being mindful of your thoughts, because your thoughts create your feelings, and then your feelings kind of have this overflow into your behaviors and your actions. So it's kind of very much like thought, feeling, behavior, and it goes in a cycle like that. So if you can take control of your thoughts, if you are constantly thinking negative thoughts, or thoughts about yourself, ideas about yourself that are quite low, you're going to end up just kind of getting into this cycle that's going thoughts, and I feel this way, and then I'm behaving this way. So and that is having an effect your behavior coming out in your confidence level. So it's always really, really good to be mindful of your thoughts. A few questions that I would like you to think about, and to just maybe write down and come back to this at another time, because it's really good to understand what confidence meant to you at whatever point in your life. So if you could just, have a little think about, where were you when you felt the most confident? So just think back to a time when you felt confident, you just felt alive, you felt amazing, you felt like you could freely express yourself or do something because you had complete confidence in yourself to do it. Have a think about where you were the last time that happened. Write down when it was, where you were, and then just have a little think about, and maybe write down what you were doing. So what is it that you were doing at that time when you felt most confident? Try to steer away from anything that's alcohol related, because we all know alcohol gives us all a bit of a confidence boost. But if you can think of genuine confidence that came from naturally yourself, that would be amazing. So what were you doing? Number 3, what was happening around you? So when you felt this confident, amazing, empowered person, what was happening around you? What were the circumstances around you? You know, were you outdoors? Were you indoors? Was it, was there other people around you? What was happening around you? What was the conditions and the circumstances? And then have a little think about who was around you, what people were around you. And this is quite a key thing, because sometimes if we surround ourselves with people who bring us down, that kind of has an effect on our confidence level. If we're around people that are continually talking down to us, or maybe they're just quite in a low vibrational, low energy kind of vibe, because we kind of end up finding people and getting on their level of wherever they are. So I would imagine the last time when you felt so confident, you were probably around people that give you that real big buzz, that kind of real big high vibe feeling. So have a think about who was around you. What is it about those people that were around you, or that person, or maybe it was nobody that was around you, maybe it was animals, maybe it was nature, I don't know. What was, this is your kind of answers to ask yourself these questions, and get your own answers, because it's going to be different for everybody. And then finally, just have a little think about, what did it feel like? So what to you did confident feel like? And you can write this down in paragraph. You can write it in sort of bullet points. Some people find it really useful to cut out pictures or colours and things like that, and use that as a way to express how they feel. I think the most important thing is that you just do what feels right for you, what's confidently right for you. So, what did it feel like when you felt confident? Just reconnect with that feeling of what it feels like to be confident, and just get an understanding for what that actually means for you. Okay, so hopefully you've written all those questions down now for you to have a little think about. There's no rush to answer these questions now. In fact, I would kind of recommend that you take this away, because this is kind of self-coaching at home, really, for you to ask yourself these questions and really just put some thought and some time into it. Because here's the main thing: you are so important, and you deserve to give yourself the time and energy that you need. Yet all of us, and we're all the same, we'll just be like, well, I don't really matter that much, I'm going to put myself to the side. That's essentially what you're saying. If when we I'll come back to that later, if you can find some time to actually dedicate to this and to really understand yourself, you will be the one that benefits from it. I can sit here and give this information to you, but essentially you're not going to benefit from it until you do something with it. But the choice is yours, and it's up to you. But yeah, have a think of those questions, write down your answers, or even just get yourself into a nice, close your eyes and just really take yourself back there and kind of really feel it, and just take note of those key things. But let's move on to your authentic voice. So your authentic voice is an expression of your identity, your vision, your values, and your life mission. So everybody has their own authentic voice. It's the essence of who you are and what you want to say. What is it that you want to say? What is it that you want to be happening around you? Because your authentic voice is just who you are and what you feel. Now, like I say, it's your identity, which is very much how you see yourself, and how you want others to see you. But more importantly, it's your vision, and your values and your life mission. So we're going to look a little bit into those areas. So I would like you to write these down on a bit of paper, on your paper or book, or however you're doing this. But write down your vision, your mission, your values, and work out what they are. So your values are it's going to be a value statement. This is quite similar to a business. When you first start a business, I don't know if anybody that's watching this has started their own business, but you'll be quite often people will tell you to write your values, your mission, and your vision statements for your business, because that is almost like the blueprint of what your business stands for and where it's going to be going. Your life is no different. You know, you need to understand what your values are, what your mission in life is, and what your vision of it is, and write yourself statements like, this is my value statement, this is who I am, this is what I want to achieve with my life. If you've got that information to hand that you can refer back to, it will always help you keep on track of where it is that you're going. So your value statement defines the things that you believe are important in the way that you live and work. So they're the things that you are, you know, in your day-to-day life, in your work that you do, in your family and your friends. It's the values that defines those things that you think are important, because they're going to be different for everybody, and that is beautiful. And I absolutely love that everybody has different values. But your values should be defined on your own importance of things, rather than what you think somebody else thinks that you should value, or society thinks that you should value. It should always be, you know, what kind of comes from in here. What are your values? Your mission statement is a summary of what you hope to achieve. So it covers the who, what, and the how. So throughout your life, what do you want to achieve? I mean, are you just plodding through endlessly, just waiting for an opportunity to maybe come along, or maybe not? You know, what is it? If you were to sit down and ask yourself what your life mission is, what your purpose is, what is it? You know, we can look at more deeper ways of you know, getting to the bottom of your life purpose. And in fact, that's something that I do with a lot of my coaching clients anyway. And you know, you can put more effort into it. We're not going to go into it so much in this particular session, because this one is about confidence and communication, building communication skills. But you know, it's really important to understand what your mission in life is, and what you feel like you want to achieve throughout your life. Could be anything. Doesn't have to be something grand like, you know, traveling to every single country in the world, or going to space, or, you know, it doesn't have to be something massive. It can just be whatever you feel is an important thing for you to achieve. A vision statement then is a declaration of what you envision or dream of achieving in your life. So if everything goes right, how will you change the world? This one is supposed to be big. It's supposed to be exciting and compelling. So your mission is, you know, the things that you hope to achieve. Your vision is supposed to be big. It's supposed to be, how will I change the world? If my mission goes to accordance and my values are met and I'm doing everything that I want to do, how am I going to change the world? What impact am I going to have on it? Make it big, make it flashy, and, you know, have that always in the core of your mind. This is my vision. It's always exciting. I always go way over the top. It's fine. So when you understand these areas, the vision, mission, and values, it will help you to know who you are. You will learn to trust in yourself. You know who you are. You know what your values are. You know what your mission in life is. And that builds a sense of trust within yourself. It'll also help you to stand in your power. Once you've kind of got to grips of, you know, this is who I am, this is what I want to achieve, this is what my big vision for life is, it's almost like you can stand in your power, like, you know, just on top of I'm just picturing myself like Simba, you know, the Pride Rock standing there like, but, you know, standing in your power and, you know, knowing yourself and feeling confident. And it will help you to communicate better, because when you know who you are and you've got trust in yourself, which we talked about, confidence, it helps you to communicate. You know what you want to say to people. You're expressing yourself in your authentic voice. You know what you are, you know who you are, you know what you want to say, and you feel empowered and confident to do it. So definitely spend some time doing that. So now moving on to empathy. So it's an important part of communication, and there's a few reasons why that is. Now, empathy helps you to acknowledge them and their feelings. So if you can acknowledge the person who you are communicating with, so just put yourself in the position that you've got somebody or people, whether it be customers, friends, family, a partner, complete strangers, colleagues, it doesn't matter. It could be people that you've met, in a hostel, or people that you've met that are culturally different from you. This is a big thing of travel, is you will always meet people from completely different cultural backgrounds and beliefs as yourself. It is, for a lot of people, it is a huge adjustment when you go traveling to kind of see yourself in this whole new world. It's what I believe has that real big transformation, and it just expands your awareness. It's incredible. But it is, when you first experience it, it's a little bit kind of like this. So if you can acknowledge the person that you are speaking to and just acknowledge their feelings, they are a human being. They are the same as you. They've been through who knows what. They've had a whole life behind them. They've got a whole family and friends behind, and around them and behind them and in their life. They've had all these experiences. I've got all these different feelings about how they feel. Just try to acknowledge how the other person or people around you are feeling, like who they are, share how you feel as well, because we're quite closed off so much. We're closed off all the time. So it would be great if everybody could naturally do that. And I do appreciate that sometimes sharing how you feel can be quite difficult, because it's always been, it's a bit of a taboo subject, isn't it, talking about how you feel. But if you can share how you feel, that breaks that. It's two people kind of connecting, two authentic voices empathizing with each other. A key part of communication is also showing interest in other people. So to be empathic is to show interest in other people, like genuine interest in them, their background, how they view the world. Just because somebody sees something different to you doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just their view. Just try and approach conversations and situations with a more open mind and interest in understanding why somebody thinks that or why they believe that to be true. Show interest, because the more you can learn from the way somebody else thinks, they're not going to change your mind, just by hearing somebody out and showing some interest in their thoughts and their backgrounds isn't going to change anything about you. It's just going to broaden your awareness and your knowledge of how different life really is. It's a form of education. It's amazing. I love it. Also, to encourage others, and it's about encouraging people to be themselves, to express themselves. You would like people to hear your authentic voice, the essence of you, and to have your voice heard. Essentially, we all do. We all want to have our voice heard, but we also want to encourage others to as well. We want to encourage people and be supportive. Encourage them to speak their truth and to just be honest. Honesty is, it's such a beautiful thing when people can be genuinely honest with one another and share how they feel with one another. But it starts with one person being empathic and allowing the other person to. And you know what? Start with you, because lead by example. We all learn from each other. And then, of course, number 6, to be open-minded. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. Be open-minded. So somebody's got a different outlook on life as you. Somebody lives their life in a different way than you. Doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. Be open-minded. You don't have to do what they do. You don't have to think what they think. But you can't change the way they think, and nor should you want to. So be open-minded to just allow different ideas to become aware of them. Just because you hear about something or someone talks about something doesn't mean you actually have to adapt that idea and roll with it. You just learn from it. We're going to move on to some listening versus hearing, because listening and hearing are two different things. I was going to say a joke about men then, but I'm not going to. So to listen is more than to simply hear. I'm going to say that again because I just think it's such a powerful line. To listen is more than to simply hear. I would argue that listening is, quite frankly, one of the most important tools in your repertoire of life skills. To be able to listen. You know, we can hear noises. I'll tell you what, I can watch TV and somebody can be talking and I will not hear what they're saying. I will be so focused on, you know, or somebody, have you ever had this where somebody will ask you a question, and I do this a lot as well. I will ask somebody a question, like I'll say to my mum, for example, do you want a cup of tea? And then I'll go in the kitchen, I'll be like, I don't know what she said. And I'll have to go back again. Did you say you wanted a tea? Or like, yeah, I said I'll have a tea. Okay, go back in. Because I was hearing, but I wasn't listening. I wasn't taking in what she was saying. So, you know, I thought I heard it. I heard she said something, but I didn't listen to what it was. And I think we do a lot of that in life. And it's okay to sometimes, if you know, to do that, you're busy and whatnot. But when it comes to communicating with people and to building those trusting relationships with people, you do need to listen. You need to be consciously listening. You know, it is a huge factor that's involved in personal success, is to be able to listen to another person. So as you'll see on the screen, there are a few tips here if you would like to obviously write them down. Number one is to look at the person who is talking directly. If I'm talking like this and, you know, you know, you'll probably be sitting there going, hi, Chloe, sorry, like, I'm here. You know, look at the person that you're talking to, because that is engaging with them. If you're looking somewhere else, I'm sure everybody's been through this before. So everybody knows what I'm saying when somebody's not looking at them when they're talking, and how awkward and uncomfortable it feels, because that's like, well, why am I even here? So look at the person directly when they're talking and focus your attention on what they are saying. Sometimes when you are quite overwhelmed, or maybe you're quite stressed, you won't always, but a lot of people find it hard to concentrate if they're quite stressed, or they've got a lot on their mind, or they're quite anxious, which is okay. That's, you know, that happens to all of us. There's a few things that you can do in that instance. The first thing is that I will say to you, you need to understand why you can't concentrate. That needs to be, you know, don't worry about your communication skills. If your like focus is not on point, if you are kind of, your mind is elsewhere because you are worrying about something or you're stressed about something, you need to address what that is first, because at the most important thing is to make sure that you are taking care of yourself. So if you are unable to focus your attention on what another person is saying, first things first, find out why that is. Are you stressed? Do you need to take a little sit back? Do you need to, you know, do a bit of stress management or anxiety management or something like that? Is there something that you need to say to somebody to get it off your chest? What is it that you need to do? If, of course, you need to listen to somebody and you've got to, at that particular point, focus on what they're saying, it's a really good tip is to, while somebody's talking, to repeat in your mind what they're saying, so that you're really kind of getting the words in. So as I'm talking, as every word is coming out my mouth, in your mind, you wouldn't repeat out loud because that would probably be quite weird. But in your mind, you would repeat the words that I'm saying, so that you are aware of what it is that I'm saying. And then once the conversation's finished, take yourself away and go and find out why it is that you're struggling to focus. Number 3 is occasionally nod or smile to assure the person that they have your attention. You know, just to kind of be, Don't know why I did that. It's nice for people to feel like you're listening to what they're saying, and if you are reacting to them, you know, and smiling and, you know, just kind of being reassuring, that in itself is going to encourage, and remember we talked about being supportive and encouraging people, it's going to encourage them to continue, you know, to continue to be able to talk, because communication isn't just about you talking. It is an exchange of information between two people. It's you expressing yourself, it's somebody else expressing their self. It's an exchange. It's not just one-sided, it's two people. Number 4, so be encouraging by using small comments like yes and aha. So, you know, somebody might be talking, you're like, yeah, yeah. It's just encouraging. It's nice. It's supportive. You're supporting the other person. Try not to interrupt. This can be difficult if the person that you're talking to is, you know, like a long talker. But, you know, you need to give people the time, because it's not nice being interrupted when you're mid conversation and somebody just cuts in. I do appreciate sometimes it's when there's a lot of people in a conversation to try and get your point, and you kind of waiting for that break in a conversation, aren't you? And that is always going to be the way when you've got a lot of people, you know, unless you've got a wooden spoon that you put up, but it's my turn. You know, you shouldn't be interrupting people. You should let them finish what it is they're saying, you know, because it is rude and it's not very nice. You wouldn't like somebody to do it to you. Don't do it to other people. Lead by example. Number 6, don't think of listening as waiting for your turn to speak. This is where a lot of people go wrong, is they're waiting to speak themselves, and therefore they're not actually listening to what the other person's saying, and they're not engaged in the conversation. And before you know it, you've got 2 people that are talking, no one's listening. It's just a completely dead conversation. You will sometimes come across people who are quite overbearing, and they just control a conversation. They won't, it's like they just won't come up for air to let you even have a chance to speak. If those instances come up, just take a deep breath, you know, just a few deep breaths maybe, and remember that you have every right to protect your own energy and set boundaries. Basically, if somebody isn't allowing you to be part of the conversation, you have every right to, you know, excuse yourself from the conversation if you're not part of it. Because like I say, this is an exchange between 2 people. If you're not able to be part of it, then excuse yourself from it. You have every right to protect yourself and your energy in that way if you need to. That's just, it's about finding a balance. Everything is about the balance. It's about the law of polarity, guys, finding that balance. So what we would normally get everyone to do if this was the not webinar style like this, if we were in talk, is to introduce yourself. So what would be a good thing for you guys to do is to practice introducing yourself. Perhaps you could find a friend or a family member, or you might want to stand in front of the mirror and introduce yourself. It's almost like your own personal elevator pitch. Who are you? What do you like? And then say out loud what your strengths are. What are you good at? What are your strengths? And then what are your travel goals? Just practice talking and getting that essence of who you are. And if you do have a friend or a family member, practice listening. Get them to do the exact same thing. Okay, so questions then. Is there any questions in the box? Let me stop sharing this because here we go. Okay, perfect. Right, so we're going to have a little look at some of the questions then. Before we do that, I'd just like to thank everybody for joining today. It's been really, really lovely to kind of go through these things and to kind of see everybody popping up there. It's really, really nice. Of course, if you would like to join any future workshops, you can sign up to the subscribers list on the One Way Journey website, which is onewayjourney.com. And of course, I'll keep you updated with any upcoming events that we do. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope that you found that this workshop useful. Just use the activities and the things that I've spoken about. If you would like a copy of this video after, no problem, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to email it across to you so that you can look it back. If you'd like a PDF version of just the slides that I've got, again, let me know, it's not a problem. But thanks so much. So let's have a little look here, shall we, at the questions.